In a vast universe, former soldier Roger Gregor awakens on an alien planet, surrounded by beautiful Talaxians led by the fierce Zara. Together they forge an alliance to resist a sinister council that threatens their existence. Can Roger navigate trust and betrayal while battling ethical dilemmas of survival versus sacrifice? In this fight, who will pay the ultimate price for freedom? Don't forget to subscribe. 91% of viewers enjoy our content but forget to hit that subscribe button. By subscribing, you'll stay up to date with our daily sci-fi stories and support a dedicated team of storytellers and content creators who rely on this as their livelihood. Roger Gregor blinked against the haze of light that enveloped him. As the brilliant luminescence softened, his vision cleared, revealing an otherworldly landscape. He found himself sprawled on soft, crimson grass that shimmered under the glow of a peculiar blue sun, casting an ethereal light over everything it touched. The air was thick, with an intoxicating blend of floral scents, reminiscent of gardenias, and something strangely metallic that tinged the atmosphere with unease. His heart raced as he pushed himself up, instinctively scanning his surroundings for threats. His instincts, honed from years of combat experience, kicked in. The alien foliage around him towered high, their spindly trunks twisted and gnarled, adorned with vibrant, pulsating flowers that seemed to hum softly, as if whispering secrets to one another. The sky above was adorned with wisps of violet clouds, an anomaly in the otherwise clear blue expanse, and the sound of distant, unidentifiable creatures echoed through the vegetation. Adrenaline surged through him, compelling him to act. "You're safe here, human," a melodic voice called out, drawing his attention like a siren's song. Turning slowly, Roger met the gaze of several Talaxian women, their luminous skin glistening like polished opals, reflecting the blue light with a mesmerizing sheen. They moved with grace, their forms lithe and strong, exuding an aura of confidence and mystique. The leader, a striking figure named Sira, stepped forward. She had cascading hair that flowed like liquid silver down her back, framing a face with sharp features and fierce, emerald-green eyes that held both curiosity and caution. "I am Zara," she stated firmly. "We mean you no harm. We've all been brought here against our will." "Wait." His instincts urged him to retreat, but Roger felt a surge of hope mixed with trepidation. He clenched his fists, feeling the sweat bead on his brow. "What does the council want with me?" he demanded, the gravity of his situation sinking in. Roger was no stranger to conflict or strife. He had battled through wars on Earth, and now it seemed war had followed him to this alien world. The air became charged as Zara's face hardened. "They fear humanity's advance," she explained, her voice barely above a whisper, heavy with urgency. "They think erasing you will restore balance." As her words settled like lead in the atmosphere, her voice softened even further. "But we need to work together. This planet is hostile, and I sense you possess skills that might help us survive." Inside, Roger grappled with conflicting emotions, the cold grip of fear thrumming in tandem with an ardent drive to trust these strangers. A battle-worn soldier, he had long learned that alliances could mean the difference between life and death. "Fine, I'll help," he conceded reluctantly, "but I don't know if I can trust you." Quote, "Trust can only be forged," Zara replied, extending her hand toward him. Her gesture held a reassuring warmth, intertwined with the weight of desperation and the promise of cooperation. With hesitation, Roger took her hand, his heart thudding in his chest with the force of an uncertain future. As their hands clasped, he felt an electric spark, a sense of something greater igniting between them, a shared purpose that transcended their differences. In those first moments, Roger's mind raced with thoughts of Earth, his home, and the comforts he had taken for granted. Days passed in a blur of survival, as Roger and the Talaxian women struggled to adapt to their environment. Towering alien flora loomed like ancient guardians, their colors vibrant against the crimson grass, every plant a creature of unpredictable behavior. A fluorescent vine twisted around a massive, knotted trunk, its tendrils darting like serpents, seeking nutrients from the soft ground. Roger marveled at how the trees seemed to breathe, exhaling puffs of luminous spores that floated lazily in the thick, heavy air. Within this lush chaos, they constructed a makeshift camp, a blend of Roger's engineering skills and the natural materials gifted by their surroundings. Zara's people demonstrated a deep understanding of adaptability. They wove silky fibers from a nearby plant, creating shelters that shimmered under the odd blue sunlight, casting playful patterns of light and shadow on their encampment. The sound of persistent rain pattered gently on the shelters like a lullaby, providing a brief respite from the harsh reality outside. Though the environment radiated beauty, it was a constant reminder that survival was a delicate tapestry. Roger shared his knowledge of engineering, building mechanisms to collect rainwater and create makeshift cooking implements. Each night, they gathered around their modest fire, exchanging stories, a Talaxian custom that allowed them to bond and share their histories. Roger learned of their world, a planet rich in culture and steeped in ancient rituals. Zara, with her fierce yet warm demeanor, shared tales of Talaxian warriors who had fought against the Council, legendary figures who left behind a legacy of bravery. The softness in her voice was a stark contrast to the fire in her eyes, igniting respect within Roger's heart. Each story unveiled layers of her people's suffering, but also their resilience. One evening, as a violent storm ravaged the skies, the tranquility was shattered. Thunder rumbled ominously, vibrating through the ground, and Roger felt a heartbeat of urgency race through him. "Zara, we're not alone!" he shouted, his voice barely rising above the howling winds. The shadows darted in the dense underbrush, figures blending with the chaos. It was a manifestation of creature like none he had ever seen, hulking shapes with elongated limbs and glimmering eyes, moving with unnatural speed. Fear gripped him, yet adrenaline propelled his every movement as the Talaxians readied their defenses, drawing glimmering energy blades that hummed with anticipation. Their camp became a battleground as they fended off the vicious alien creatures that emerged from the tempest. The air crackled with tension, and Roger felt the weight of anticipation press against his chest. Each time a creature lunged, he was there, sidestepping and retaliating alongside Zara. The chaos enveloped them, splashes of rain mingling with the splatters of red from their attackers. "Stay close!" Roger shouted, adrenaline coursing through his veins, the fight instinctively igniting a spark of survival. "Get to the cave!" Zara yelled back, her determination affecting the air around them like electricity. The words, drenched in urgency, resonated with Roger, a battle cry against despair as they maneuvered through the storm, a cyclone of chaos encircling them. The elements roared, and with each stride, Roger's awareness of their surroundings sharpened. Just as they reached safety, an eerie silence descended inside the cave, punctuated only by the distant rumble of the storm. Shadows danced menacingly against the walls, flickering with the faint glow of bioluminescent fungi growing in vivid colors. The cave, though dark and daunting, was a sanctuary amidst the chaos. As they caught their breath, the deep growl of a beast echoed outside. Zara clenched her jaw, her fierce expression conveying 1,000 unspoken fears. "We cannot remain in hiding forever. They will hunt us, scenting our fear," she stated. Eyes scanned the darkness, seeking reassurance that their alliance was unbreakable. Roger nodded, his heart pounding. "We need to strategize our next move. There's more at stake here than just our survival." He felt a surge of determination flood through him. They could not simply be victims of circumstance. They needed to become the architects of their destiny. As dawn broke, painting the world in hues of pink and orange, they stepped out of the cave into the aftermath of the storm. The alien landscape transformed, trees bent in unusual positions, and strange creatures peered at them with curiosity rather than malice. It was a vivid reminder of how quickly the world could shift. Zara took a deep breath, scanning the horizon with narrowed eyes. The storm had revealed a path leading deeper into the verdant wilderness, a path woven with danger yet filled with potential. "We must gather more resources and find answers. I sense something is amiss about the Council's intentions," she mused, an undercurrent of worry threading through her voice. With newfound resolve, they set out, the team cohesive and focused, crossing through dense foliage that whispered secrets against the winds. Roger's instincts kicked in his past as a soldier, resounding like a war drum in his mind. He shared tactical plans with the group, teaching them about ambushes, retreats, and forming strategies that utilized their knowledge of the terrain. Along the way, Roger began to understand the vastness of the Talaxian culture, their history entwined with myths of distant stars and celestial dragons, caretakers of the cosmos. "Each battle fought is a step towards preserving this legacy," Zara would say at dusk, her gaze piercing into the starlit sky, as if drawing strength from the constellations. However, with each passing day, doubt nagged at Roger's heart. Why had the Council targeted him specifically? Did they view him as a threat or a mere pawn? Those unresolved questions lingered like shadows at the edges of his consciousness, a constant reminder of the complex web they were entwined in. Just as they felt a flicker of hope reignite within their group dynamics, a bond deepening forged in battle, the unsettling roar of an approaching Talaxian ship broke the early morning hush. Dust clouded the ground, and the vibrant colors of their camp seemed to dim. "We must hide," Roger urged, heart racing at the realization that this was not just a survival mission. They were actors in a much larger play. Zara's eyes flared with recognition as they ducked behind an outcropping. "We cannot be seen. If the council is here, it means they're onto us." Her voice was firm, yet the fear lurking behind her steadiness cracked the fragile layer of courage they had built. The shadow of the ship loomed larger, a specter against the horizon. Its metallic form gleamed ominously against the blue sun. Inside, Roger could feel the tension thickening like fog, suffocating beneath the weight of their mission. The ship hovered silently, its presence a reminder that they were being hunted. As the storm subsided, casting a surreal calm over the alien landscape, Roger, Zara, and a selected group of Talaxians ventured out towards the wreckage of the alien ship that loomed over them like a fallen titan. Overgrown vines and luminous fungi throbbed with light around the wreck, seeping through damaged structures, illuminating the fragmented technology scattered like bones from a long-forgotten battle. "Stay alert," Roger cautioned, gripping his makeshift weapon, a Talaxian energy blade that hummed faintly in his hands. The blade felt alien and yet powerful, a symbol of the teamwork they had forged. "We don't know what we're walking into." Zara, with her iridescent skin filtering the remnants of a twilight sky, led the way, her fierce eyes scanning for threats. The ship fell into a dense area of the Sira forest. "There are plenty of things in here that could kill us," she replied, her voice steady yet laced with urgency. As they crept closer to the wreckage, the entire team fell silent, awash in a sense of reverence mixed with dread. The ship's lower section was partially embedded in the ground, intricate carvings defining its hull, telling stories of a people long forgotten. The designs felt alive, pulsating softly as they approached, hinting at the advanced technology of its creators. Roger climbed onto a piece of debris to get a better view. From an elevated position, he noticed a flicker of light emanating from what appeared to be the remnants of the control room, largely intact but cloaked in erratic holographic projections. "There, we need to get in there," he pointed, instantly racing down, heart pounding with a mix of excitement and fear. As they infiltrated the wreck, the air inside was tinged with the smell of unfamiliar metals and burning circuits. The control room was a chaotic symphony of shattered panels and lights, casting eerie shadows that danced across their faces. Mysterious diagrams and maps hovered in the air, their semi-transparent images twisting and shifting with every movement. "Zara, look at this. These displays are still active." Roger switched on a nearby terminal, the screen sparking to life at his touch. Projections of alien schematics and data streams flickered before him, detailed designs revealing biological manipulations and genetic research focused on diverse species, some even resembling human traits. "Experiments involving interspecies manipulation," Zara read aloud, her expression changing from determination to horror. "They're taking Talaxians and humans, altering them. This is something sinister." Roger's heart raced as he processed the implication. These plans indicated a deep-rooted treachery. "If the Council is orchestrating this," he said, "they're not only trying to wipe us out, but they're weaponizing our very existence." Zara clenched her fists, her gaze sharpening. "We must expose them before they can execute their plans. We have to warn our people, gather as many allies as we can." Suddenly, a low rumbling echoed through the ship, vibrating the floors with palpable intensity. The lights flickered in response, casting a deepening shadow on their faces. "We need to move now," Roger urged, adrenaline surging through him. They began to gather vital data, carefully transferring files onto a compact device Zara had salvaged during their skirmishes in the forest. Each file illuminated their path, revealing the scope of the Council's intentions but also showing weaknesses within their strategies. A flicker of hope emerged amidst the dread. Together they could strike back. As they exited the wreckage, dawn broke silently over the alien horizon, tinting the skies with hues of crimson. "We need to regroup and devise a plan," Roger said, glancing at the somber faces of his companions. Among them was Elena, a Talaxian engineer with intricate tattoos snaking across her arms, each symbol representing a tale of her ancestors. She was small in stature but fierce in presence, her bright green eyes glinting with intelligence as she observed the data on the device. "I can create distractions," Elena proposed with rising confidence. "If we can intercept their communications, we could mislead them while empowering our people to respond. I can work on the technology I retrieved from the forest. It's still functional." Zara nodded in agreement, her fierce eyes shining with a renewed conviction. "Elena's right. We can engineer a series of disruptions that'll buy us time. We know they'll respond aggressively, but we have the element of surprise on our side." Roger's heart surged with pride for his companions. This ragtag group was coming together under the fire of impending danger, uniting for a cause greater than themselves. Let's get everything ready. Every second counts. If we fail to act now, we risk losing more than just our lives. They moved swiftly, each member knowing their part, the atmosphere thick with urgency. As they prepared, Roger couldn't shake an unsettling feeling. Lately, shadowed figures had been spotted lurking near their camp. Were they still being hunted? The council's reach was vast, and each moment felt heavy with the weight of impending danger. He stood at the edge of their encampment, gazing into the pulsating rings of stars above, a reminder of the infinity captivating yet oppressive. Suddenly, the peaceful night was shattered by distant explosions, rippling through the untouched silence of the landscape, the echoes of chaos reverberating in Roger's chest. "They're coming for us!" he shouted. The group snapped into action. Weapons were drawn, adrenaline coursing through their veins like a siren song. As Roger and Zara prepared for what seemed the inevitable clash, the forest came alive with guttural roars and the consequential rustle of alien creatures. "It's now or never," Zara shouted, eyes blazing with fury, the determination etched on her face defining a warrior ready for battle. Roger gritted his teeth, flame igniting within him. Beside him, Elena activated her devices, a hum resonating with promising energy. "They've sent a fleet. We can't let them crush our hopes." The sound of ships slicing through the atmosphere thundered closer, fears materializing into reality. The shadows they had felt lingering in the corners of their minds were manifesting. A daunting onslaught was preparing to descend upon them. In a thrilling rush, as the first of the enemy vessels broke through the trees, Roger remained poised, ready for whatever would come next. The future felt uncertain, like the galaxy itself, and yet, in their shared determination, a spark of rebellion ignited. In that fleeting moment, amidst the chaos about to unfold, a truth emerged. They were not just fighting for survival, they were fighting for existence itself. The starlit sky twinkled with foreboding, the soft hum of the alien flora providing an eerie soundtrack to an otherwise tense atmosphere. Roger and Zara convened with their diverse group of allies in a hidden alcove, a haven shielded from the prying eyes of the Council's fleet that loomed ominously above them. Each ally, a unique representation of their respective species, shared their expertise and resources under the glimmering light of strange bioluminescent plants. Roger surveyed the room, noting the tension woven into the fabric of their meeting. "We need a plan," he said, his voice cutting through the unease. The group was an eclectic mixed Talaxians adorned with ornate fabrics and intricate tattoos, along with a few human survivors scattered throughout, each with their own set of scars and stories. "We can't just charge in," Zara proclaimed, her brow furrowed in determination. "The Council is cunning. They possess advanced weaponry and strategies designed to crush any rebellion before it begins." Cathar, the Talaxian warrior who had served alongside Zara for years, raised his hand to speak, his long fingers adorned with metal rings that clinked softly with his every movement. "We are not without resources. We have Talaxian tech hidden in the ruins, remnants of our old civilizations. We can utilize those to our advantage." "Moo!" Roger's mind raced as ideas swirled around. "What if we create a diversion? While they're distracted, we could infiltrate their main ship and disable their systems from within." Zara nodded, her eyes narrowing thoughtfully. "We can send a smaller team, swift and agile. They can generate chaos, while the rest of us prepare for an all-out assault." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the group, but a gnawing doubt lingered in Roger's mind. "And what about the safety of our people? What if the Council retaliates in ways we can't predict?" Cathar stepped forward, his voice steady. "Risk is inherent in any struggle for freedom, but do we sit idly by and await our demise? No. The time has come to fight." Encouragement spread through the ranks, hearts and minds igniting in solidarity. However, beneath the flickering light, Roger caught sight of some faces wearing masks of fear. Some Talaxians were whispering, their soft voices carried through the tense air. As the plans solidified, Zara motioned for silence. "Tomorrow, at first light, we strike. We're not just fighting for ourselves, we're fighting for all who've suffered at the hands of the Council." The group dispersed to their assigned areas, readying themselves for the morrow's confrontation. Roger lingered behind, a heavy sense of responsibility clinging to his chest. Alone in the alcove, he stared into the depths of the sprawling woods outside. The unity they had forged felt fragile, like glass on the brink of shattering. Night embraced the landscape, and as Roger paced silently, Thoughts flooded back to the strange technology they had unearthed in the wreckage earlier. Could it assist them? Asterisk. The notion gnawed at him. The Talaxian tech seemed advanced, but deeply intertwined with their culture, a fusion of art and machine. He recalled the flash of holographic messages and inscriptions swirling in the air like ghosts. Suddenly, the air shifted, carrying whispers of rustling branches. A figure stepped out of the shadows. An unfamiliar face, a Talaxian clad in muted colors, almost blending with the darkness. "Who are you?" Roger demanded, instincts kicking in. "Easy there." The figure raised their hands, revealing slender fingers. "I'm Inara, an engineer from a hidden enclave. I've come to offer my assistant's knowledge about some of our tech that the Council has been using." Roger felt a spark of hope reignite. "What do you know?" Inara glanced around cautiously before inching closer, lowering her voice. "The systems they've acquired are technology, it can be turned against them, but the intricate designs and processes were lost in Council secrecy." Quote, "What do you mean?" Roger's heart raced as he processed this revelation. "We have been continually oppressed. Our people still cling to the old designs, using them in secret." Inara paused, allowing the weight of her words to hang in the air. "But to harness it, we need a failsafe, a key, to unlock and reconfigure the raw energy sources." "Can you make it work?" Roger pressed. "Together we can," she declared, her intensity palpable. Determined, Roger extended his hand. "Let's make a plan. Time is not on our side." The next day dawned, casting fractured light through the trees. Roger assembled their top engineers, led by Inara, who began sketching plans for an offensive, while the warriors sharpened their tactics. Roger stood tall in front of the huddled group, heart pounding in anticipation. "We may face overwhelming odds," he declared, resonating strength into his voice. "But today we stand not as individuals from separate realms, but as one united front against tyranny." Quote, Zara's voice broke through, an inspiring melody that grounded the group. "Even if we falter, we must remember our purpose. When we fight today, we fight for every soul the Council has silenced." There was a chorus of agreement, the Talaxians' war cries echoing into the sky like tangible hope. Moments later, the last preparations completed. The vast sound of ships booming above reached them like distant thunder. They could feel the tremors of the approaching Council fleet reverberate within the soil. In a stunning ascent to the sky, Roger and his team erupted from their encampment, each pilot maneuvering through the array of vegetation before breaking into open airspace that had once felt so hostile. Talaxian ships swirled around them, sleek vessels that reflected the colors of the galaxy, a spectacular display of unity. "Oh my God," Roger murmured, gazing at the magnificence surrounding him. With a sudden crackle, laser fire erupted across the dark expanse as the Council fleet unleashed their first onslaught. Roger's pulse quickened, urgency amplified as the battle unfolded around them. The Alliance navigated the chaotic swirl, dodging shots and returning fire with newfound resolve. "On my mark!" Zara's voice rang in his ear. As they maneuvered through the conflict, they managed to break into the heart of the enemy fleet. Just as they readied to initiate their plan, the thundering barrage of explosions echoed through the void, peppering the galaxy with sparks. "We're close!" Inara barked, coordinating fire from the engineering bay of their ship. Roger felt the adrenaline mingle with the overwhelming realization of the stakes involved. Their victory could mean an end to the oppression. But at what cost? Suddenly, a blaring alarm pierced through the chaos. As the dust of battle settled around them, painful reminders of war mingled with the scent of hope in the air. Roger Gregor and Zara, standing side by side, surveyed the scene unfolding before their eyes. The once formidable fleet of the Council lay smoldering amidst the wreckage of countless starships, remnants of a power that had oppressed them for far too long. "How swiftly the tides can turn," Roger murmured, his heart racing in the aftermath of their hard-fought victory. The adrenaline still coursed through him, making the world feel vibrant and surreal, a high from which he didn't want to descend. Zara turned to him, her intense gaze reflecting a mixture of resolve and exhilaration. "We have not just fought for survival, Roger. Today we've disrupted an entire regime. We've taken our fate into our own hands." A ripple of cheers rose from the gathered warriors around them, Talaxians and newfound human allies alike. Roger could hear the throaty roars of celebration, the sound echoing off the charred remains of their enemies. In that moment, he felt a part of something larger than himself. He had never expected his journey would lead him to this, an alliance forged in the crucible of war. "We did it," Roger breathed, astonished and overwhelmed. "For the first time, our species stand united against a common foe." Zara's expression softened, a rare smile breaking through her fierce exterior. "Indeed, we did. Against all odds, we emerged victorious. But we must be cautious. Victory can be as deceptive as defeat." "Ed." Roger nodded, her words resonating deeply with him. While the council may have crumbled, new challenges awaited. His gaze wandered over the ash-strewn battlefield, and a gnawing reminder of what lay beyond the horizon crept into his mind. What comes next? We need to establish a sense of order, or this victory may just become an afterthought. Zara's brow furrowed in contemplation, her gaze drifting to the remnants of the council's flagship, half submerged in flames. "It won't be easy. Distrust runs deep among our peoples. To forge a lasting peace, we need to begin with transparency and understanding." "Trust has always been a fragile thing," Roger replied, looking around at the mixed groups of Talaxians and humans, some still wary of each other. "But that's what we fought for, isn't it? To create a society where we can coexist and support one another." The Talaxian warriors around them began to congregate, and Roger turned his attention to Samir, one of their human engineers who had bravely fired alongside Talaxian lines during the battle. "Samir, what state are our forces in? Are we able to keep defending our newfound alliance?" "Woo." With sweat glistening on his forehead and the remnants of debris in his hair, Samir exchanged a glance with Zara. "A few ships remain operational, but resources are limited. We'll need to ration our supplies and maintain vigilance. There are those who'll see this alliance as a threat." "Then we must act quickly," Roger declared, a determined gleam in his eyes. "We can't let fear govern our actions." As the celebration continued around them, Roger stepped forward, gathering the warriors for a strong address. Mastering his nerves, he raised his voice above the din. "Listen to me. Today, we have fought shoulder to shoulder against tyranny and won. This victory is a symbol, a declaration that our lives belong to us, not to those who would wield power over us. We are bound not just by survival, but by a shared dream of peace and prosperity." The crowd fell silent, his words resonating through the throng. Zara stepped beside him, the gleam of inspiration reflecting in her eyes. "Together, we shall build a new world. We will face our challenges side by side. But for this to work, we must respect each other. We must learn from one another." Whoof! A wave of applause erupted, reverberating around the battlefield. The energy shifted, transforming from one of exhaustion to that of shared purpose. It felt as though their spirits lifted as one. Days turned into weeks as they navigated their precarious new reality. Roger took on a role he had never anticipated, an ambassador of peace. He spent hours consulting with Zara as they constructed workshops, cultural exchanges, and training programs to promote mutual understanding and cooperation. They often met near the residual tech of the alien ships they had salvaged, now repurposed into a hub of innovation and collaboration. The once vibrant chambers, filled with advanced technologies and ancient relics, buzzed with the activity of both species. Humans and Talaxians worked alongside each other, crafting machines that utilized their unique skills. "Roger!" a voice called, pulling him from his thoughts. It was Samir, a datapad in hand, excitement brightening his eyes. "Come, look at this. We've decrypted additional logs from the Council's flagship." Roger approached, intrigued by the complex designs flashing on the screen. "What have you found?" Samir scrolled through the data, presenting schematics depicting a weapon of immense destructive capability looming on the horizon, designed to target and obliterate resources in a matter of seconds. "This is their contingency plan, something they intended to activate in the event of our success. It's a biological weapon designed to incapacitate anyone who resists them." Feeling a chill of dread slip like ice down his spine, Roger exchanged a glance with Zara, who stood nearby studying the information. "They've underestimated us. Their designs may be formidable, but they've also made one fatal mistake," she declared, her tone full of fierce conviction. "They have forgotten that they are not the only ones who can innovate." Rallying the newly formed alliance, Roger helped lead discussions on how to counter the impending threat. The atmosphere within the workshop was charged with urgency and creativity as humans and Talaxians pooled their collective ingenuity together. Over days and nights of collaboration, Roger witnessed barriers dissolve, differences become strengths as they began developing countermeasures. Quote, "Prepare for their attack. Roger shouted, adrenaline flooding his veins as they unearthed advanced defenses against the weaponry. If we can find a way to hijack their signals, we may be able to turn their own weapons against them. Smiles ignited across faces as plans took shape, and excitement grew. Yet even as waves of bravado filled the air, each member of the alliance also carried the weight of uncertainty, a reminder of the hardships still to come. As weeks passed, a coalition emerged, one that thrived on hope, yet remained wary of the darkness still lurking in every shadow. The anticipated attack drew closer, a storm gathering on the horizon, and in their moments of calm, Roger found himself standing beside Sira, watching the suns dip below the fractured landscape. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" he said, awestruck as colors bled across the horizon. "A bit deceptive," came her soft reply, and for a moment the weight of their struggles hung between them before their hands unconsciously found each other, an affirmation of their alliance woven with a deeper bond. The battle came swiftly, and the combined forces prepared for the confrontation ahead. Roger, clad in a tactical suit modified with Talaxian enhancements, found himself standing alongside Sira, a vibrant shield of turquoise energy indented into their wristbands. "Today we will show them that unity is our greatest weapon," he said, a fierce determination radiating from him. As the enemy ships descended, Roger ignited the shield's energy, sending waves of brilliance surging into the oncoming fleet, turning their own ire against them. With the roar of battle filling his ears, a sense of familiarity washed over him as he fought not just for survival, but for a vision of a future woven from respect and collaboration. The confrontation unfolded in a ballet of destruction and endurance, sparks flying as laser beams streaked across the sky, the clash of metal and energy stirring the very essence of courage within him. In the heart of turmoil, Sira fought by his side, each move synchronized, a choreography born from trust. "Look!" she shouted, motioning toward a weak point in the enemy formation. "If we flank their left flank, we might break their line." Roger nodded sharply, charging forward with her at his side. "Follow my lead." As the mixed forces surrounded the enemy, the tide of the battle began to shift. "They're faltering," a Talaxian warrior yelled, his eyes gleaming with excitement. "Now, strike!" Roger yelled, leading an explosive push against the Council forces. In breathtaking sequences, waves of their combined firepower cut through the chaos, disrupting the mechanisms of terror the Council had unleashed. The realization of victory began to sink in, and as the dust settled for the final time, adrenaline surged through Roger and his teammates. A jolt of triumph mixed with disbelief at the surreal nature of their victory. As they stood victorious amidst the ashes of their oppressors, amidst camaraderie and fierce pride, Roger felt a profound understanding emerge. Peace was not simply the absence of conflict, but a continuous harmony cultivated through trust, cooperation, and shared dreams. As sun set upon the remnants of destruction, Roger stood with Sira, emotions mingling in the air. "This is only the beginning," he whispered, a gentle promise that sparked connection amidst uncertainty. Sira turned, her fierce gaze softened, reflecting deep understanding and mutual respect. "The galaxy is vast, and so are the challenges that await us. But together, we can face whatever comes next." Together, they gazed up at the stars, the myriad points of light whispering untold stories of hope and adventure. Questions about the future lingered like shadows among the bright constellations. Would they uncover new allies? Would further threats arise? With each flicker of light, the universe beckoned, inviting them to embark on the journey ahead. In this moment of triumph, amidst feelings of resolution, Roger understood that what truly bound their fates together was not merely the battles they had fought or won, but the shared belief in a world reborn, a legacy destined to inspire future generations. With the air filled with laughter and the shared thrill of survival, they took their first steps into the dawn of a new era, brimming with promise and the whispers of untold stories waiting to unfold in the fabric of the stars. If you liked this story based on real events, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like it. Here you can dive into a different reality every day, where anything can happen. Comment below what kind of story you would like to hear here. Thank you very much for your attention. We are the Sci-Fi family.